Okay, Ryan Garcia called out Sean O'Malley in MMA. Let's talk about that. But also, I want to talk about this string of fighters that have just been making these delusional claims in fights that cannot happen. It's like everybody figured out Conor McGregor's old trick from back in 2018, 2019, when he was trying to stay relevant, where Conor would just call out whoever fought that weekend. That seems to be going on across the entire industry now. These fights that are just never going to happen. Like once John Jones and Francis Ngannou were officially signed to different MMA organizations, all of a sudden now they can't keep each other's name out of their mouth. Jake Paul constantly calling out everybody who's already in the UFC, including Dana White. This week, Ilia Topuria talked about how he could beat up Khabib Nurmagomedov, which is just insane. And of course, to top it all off, the one that we're going to talk about in this video, the one of Ryan Garcia saying that he could come over to MMA, jump into the UFC, and stand and bang with Sean O'Malley in the octagon. I'll play some of that for you now.
Beat in MMA, guaranteed. Yeah, I'm a natural. You don't understand. I'm a natural wrestler. I just beat my security that's a wrestler. I beat him. I'm strong, and I got crazy conditioning. That's already been done. Yeah. I know I'm going to knock him out in boxing. That's not even fair. What is fair is to test myself in MMA, because I know if I put my mind to it and I trained every day and I had Nate helping me, even Alex Pereira, all of them, and I really locked in, he will not beat me. I will come with everything I have and I would destroy Sean O'Malley in the
There you go. Okay, firstly, these call-outs, they just seem to be getting more and more ridiculous. And I think the only way that we, the fans, are going to stop it has to come from us. Like, we have to start ridiculing these fighters in their DMs and on their Instagram posts when they just start to fake tough guy these imaginary fights that can never happen. Like, they are obviously doing it to get clout and to seem tough, but I don't know, it just doesn't, to me, calling out a fight that can never happen doesn't seem tough to me. Like, Dustin Poirier taking on Benoit Saint-Denis seems tough to me. Someone calling out a fight that they know just will never happen seems like just fake to me, like a fake tough guy act. Imagine if I was to sit here in this chair right now and start talking about how I could beat Justin Gaethje, how I could take on Justin Gaethje, and start calling out and trying to rile up an interaction with Justin Gaethje. And I'm confident that I would smash him. You know, if it wasn't for some slipped discs in my back, I don't have any. I'm just saying, like, imagine, right? If it wasn't for some slipped discs in my back, and if I was a UFC fighter, I could absolutely destroy Gaethje. It's just my back is sore. I got an injury, so I can't be in the UFC, so I can't beat Gaethje. Like, that's a ridiculous thought to have. That's insane. You would laugh at me. I'd get so much trash in the comments. But Garcia can go out and say that he wants to take on Sean O'Malley in the UFC when we know that that fight is never going to happen. Dana White, like, hates boxing promoters, and he is famous for hating boxing promoters. Why would he take on Ryan Garcia and co-promote with them again? Why would he co-promote with boxing again like he did back with Conor McGregor? He talked about how much he hated doing that. The whole, I'm going to fight this guy over there. The whole, I'm going to fight John Jones, I'll fight Francis Ngannou. Mate, PFL got 6,000 views on their weekend stream. The PFL got 6,000 views on their weekend live stream. Why would Dana White co-promote with them? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So now John Jones can look tough calling out Francis Ngannou when he knows that fight can't happen. And Ryan Garcia can look tough calling out Sean O'Malley when he knows that fight is not going to happen. Even if Garcia was signed to a 7-fight deal with the UFC, it would not be in the UFC's favor to chuck him in there straight away against O'Malley. We've seen this when talent from other organizations comes over. Like, firstly, just CM Punk, right? Entertainer came over and had a few see how you're going fights that went absolutely horribly. But even like seasoned MMA fighters like Michael Chandler, who is a Bellator champion, didn't come in and fight for a title straight away. Look, Michael Venom Page is going to be coming in 2 weeks' time, is not going to be fighting for a title straight away. It wouldn't make any sense for Dana White to take someone new and pop him against his brand new toy and this person that he's trying to build up as a champion in Sean O'Malley. It doesn't work in Dana White's favor, even if Garcia was to sign a 7-fight deal. And what adds to this delusion is that when Garcia called out O'Malley, he sounded super serious. Like, he sounded as if he thinks he has a real chance in there in an MMA fight. Even if you were to just take out the grappling and Sean O'Malley's jiu-jitsu, like all the work that Sean O'Malley has done on his entire career to cultivate his jiu-jitsu and his grappling, which we don't even get to see because he strikes so well. The moment that Sean decides to open up the stance and change it, maybe open it up to a karate stance or something a little bit longer, where he can start to implement the leg kicks to the body, the leg kicks to the Joe Rogan, it's going to change the game. Sean O'Malley might leg kick the inside of the calf. As he starts to establish a very basic jab, which Garcia is used to and will fall into patterns of, and then starts to throw the high kick over the top, and we see Usman go to sleep and Poirier go to sleep. These seasoned MMA fighters who get tricked by the jab coming at their face. The fight will completely change for Garcia. Once Garcia puts his hands up and starts to realize that the gloves are smaller and Sean O'Malley can just jab straight through the center of them, it is going to completely change the game. And then when Sean O'Malley gets his knockdown and Garcia is expecting a referee to come in and stop it and give him a 10 count, Sean O'Malley can easily just stand over him and rain down punches and ground and pound. He's going to realize that he comes from a sporting background and MMA fighters come from a fighting background where every single tool is available to them. Like, I get it that he's from a previously dead sport and he needs to rile up the masses to get them interested in their pay-per-views. Like, if it wasn't for Jake Paul bringing attention to boxing and then the Saudis jumping on boxing as well, their sport would have completely died out in like 2012. So I understand that you need to do something to keep your sport relevant because it's just so mind-numbingly boring and hard to follow. I mean, their sport is such a mess that they have to get on a channel called the MMA Hour to announce their biggest fights and then brag like they're the premier sport. So I understand that the poor boxing community needs the Chad MMA community to lift itself up, and they need our awesome fighters to rival themselves against. Otherwise, no one would be interested in their sport. I get it, and I don't blame them for trying to create some interest, but it's just getting a little ridiculous, boxing. And we know that they don't have a chance when it comes over to boxing because we see some of the top fighters in the world come over from even kickboxing where they're allowed to have kicks, right? Like, let's look at Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is an amazing kickboxer, maybe one of the best kickboxers in the world. But when you look at his early fights in the UFC, even some of his current fights in the UFC, he does get clipped on the chin a fair bit. And it comes down to the gloves being different and the range fighting being different in MMA. We see this as well. If you watch a lot of One Championship, you'll see this as well, where someone will be an amazing kickboxer and then they'll go on and take on the exact same fighter in the exact same competition, except this time it will be Muay Thai, and we'll shrink the gloves down and start to implement elbows in the clinch work. And the whole fight completely changes. It's one of the things that makes one fight nights, One Championship so interesting. You can have two fighters and see how they go in boxing, in kickboxing, and in Muay Thai. And you can start to see the different skills play out with each other. That's why we should all be watching One Championship as well. Ryan Garcia is honestly absolutely either trying to sell his fight, in which case good on him, or delusional. And it sounds like he's delusional. He's a really good actor. If he's being serious, he's a really good actor. You know, he's talking about how he can wrestle with his security guards. Like, mate, just because you and the boys can have a wrestle over the barbecue, like, just because you can play around with your mates and you're getting one over your security guard, who you're paying, and he knows he can't hurt you, otherwise he'll get fired, doesn't mean that you can just jump into the UFC and take on Sean O'Malley in a 25-minute championship fight. Duh. I heard that call out. I heard him talking that way, and it just instantly pissed me off, man. It pissed me off because it's just this continued madness of people saying these delusional things with a straight face. Like, what are you talking about? Ryan Garcia is fucking delusional. Let me know down there in the comments How long would you give Ryan Garcia in the octagon, in UFC, in MMA against Sean O'Malley? What are we talking? First round, second round? Let me know. Timestamp it down there. How long would Ryan Garcia survive in the octagon? Put it down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe? Give these videos a chance to pop up on your screen for a bit. If you don't like them in the future, you can always go ahead and unsubscribe. That's cool with me. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video.